talking about the music today, sitting here in the studios live and live in color with legendary radio personality, Mr. Bobby OJ.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Man,
All right.
this is a pleasure and an honor to have you here on this show.
Thank you.
My friend Marcus and I.
Right. Thank you.
You know,
Appreciate that.
Yeah, on this show we talk about the music, and you have a history of knowledge in the music industry. So I know you talk about it bits and pieces on your show from time to time, but just kind of give us the whole thing, take us way back to the beginning. Where did it all start?
Well, 1972, Montgomery, Alabama. I got my first job in the radio business and left there and went to Milwaukee, stayed there for a little while, and went to Houston.
Hold on now. Let me interrupt you. Let me slow you down now, because you are originally from Mississippi.
Right.
So how did you go about ending up in Montgomery?
Well, when I got out of high school in 1970, I was 16 years old. And my older brothers and sisters had migrated from the cotton fields of Mississippi up to Wisconsin. And they all had factory jobs, and I was too young to work in a factory. So I wanted to be in the radio business anyway, because I had gotten bitten by the radio bug when I was 14 years old. So I knew I wanted to be on the radio. So I went to Milwaukee and I got a job, a summer job, working at the University of Wisconsin. And when the summer was over, they gave me a full-time job because they liked my work and they knew I was a high school graduate.
But this was like college radio.
No,
okay.
I was a janitor.
What?
No, I was a janitor. I was sweeping floors and cleaning toilets.
Really?
At the university, and the older guys liked my work because I was a hardworking guy. So they hired me as a full-time person. So So after that, I enrolled in broadcasting school, and in 1972, I got my first job in Montgomery, Alabama. So since I was living in Milwaukee, I went to broadcasting school in Milwaukee, but I got my first radio job in Alabama.
Right. So when I hear you on the radio talking to the young people about working and toughing it out and being able to do whatever it takes to get yourself to work your way up.
Right.
So you actually, because I mean, nobody could probably imagine Bobby OJ being a janitor.
Man, I came out of the cotton fields of Mississippi. I mean, can you imagine that? So for 14 years of my life, I was picking cotton and doing all the things, on the farm that kids did back then, And so from age 7 to age 14, I was the guy that got up at 6 o'clock in the morning and went to the cotton fields and stayed there till 6 o'clock in the evening.
So you've been through it?
I've been through it. I've been there. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you know the story.
Absolutely.
So now from there, from Montgomery, you went on to...
I went back to Milwaukee to work at a radio station there, and I was there for maybe about a year, and then I left there and went to Houston, which was a major market.
Right.
And I worked there for a little while and left and went to Flint, Michigan, because I had some marital problems going on. So I was trying to get back closer to Milwaukee to be with my wife and my kids at the time. But Flint was too small for me. And I got another offer to go back to Houston to work at the same radio station in 1975. So I went back there, and I stayed there till 77. Got a job offer to go to work in Dallas to replace Tom Joyner, because he had left Dallas to go to Chicago. So I went to Dallas in 77, stayed there for a year. And in 1978, I got a phone call from Chicago to replace Tom Joyner again at another radio station at WBMX, which is now B103 VAZ.
Right.
And so I went to Chicago in 1978, and I was there till 82. Went back to Houston for a quick minute in 82, and in January 83, I came here. I came back to Memphis. Well, I came to Memphis, and in March of 83, I was given the job as the program director and the morning man at WDIA, and I've been here ever since.
Right. Well, look, man, you have certainly changed the face of radio in the South.
Thank you.
You're probably one of the only guys that I can remember in my time span that has actually still held a place in the ratings, because during the transition of radio and the music industry and that whole thing, you seem to sustain and hold on. And you mentioned another one, Tom Joyner. And so that's kind of ironic that you guys have had that path in the circle of life, Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you, this is really, really crazy. It is ironic too. But in 1972, when I walked in the radio station in Montgomery, Alabama, Tom Joyner was walking out. So I've known him all of my career.
So it's kind of like you coming in, he's leaving.
Exactly.
Or he's coming in and you're leaving.
Yes, I mean, it's been that way my whole career. In 1972, I'm going in the station, I meet him, he's leaving, going somewhere. And so that's just the way it's been. So, we've known each other for 37, 38 years.
Right.
long time.
So have you ever you host the
Right.
Fun Morning Show?
Right, on DIA, been doing it for the last 27 years.
The
yes.
Goodwill station.
Yeah, the number one morning show. As you know, I compete with 2 syndicated shows. I compete with Tom. I compete with Steve. But I am consistently the number one show in the Memphis area, in the Memphis market. And when you tell people that around the country, they some of them believe it, but some find it hard to believe because they're thinking, well, you on an AM station, these guys are national, how you beat them? I say, because of what I do, you know, and so, you know, it's fun, and it's hell, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, well, you I was getting ready to ask you because doing that, it seems like corporations have come in, and it's been that way for what, the last 10 years
Yeah,
or
for
so,
the last 10
15
years,
years
yeah.
have come in and had a tremendous impact on
Yeah.
the way that the music industry and radio has gone, but yet you still find a way to keep the good family values with what you do and your show, and I mean just the whole creative process of doing that. How is that done?
Well, see, the thing is,
a consistent basis.
well, you know, I grew up listening to WDIA, and over the years, WDIA, of course, being the first black radio station in America, this station has been a model for black radio stations all over the country, and so the station has been so successful over the last 61 years, till the new ownership and the management over the years. I've worked for 9 general managers, 9, and about 6 owners, and none of them tampered with the radio station. They all came in and said, "Hey, Bobby, you're doing a great job on DIA. I don't know how it works. It's working. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it." And so over the years, I realized that we need to keep a piece of WDIA, you know, to preserve the historic value of the radio station. But if the station is going to grow and move forward and not become this little dull, boring AM radio station, then we have to stay on top of things, man. I mean, we have to play the new Toni Braxton. We got to play the new Mariah Carey, the new Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
You know, we got to play the new Charlie Wilson, and from time to time we have to play the new Alicia Keys and the new Mary J. Blige, and mix that with Marvin Gaye and Aretha Franklin, Gladys and the OJs, Isley, Luther, and Anita. You got to blend all of that stuff in together. And so over the years, the management and the owners of the radio station, they've found out that this stuff works for what we do here, and so they allow me to do it, and it continues to work.
And you know, I noticed as I travel a lot through the South, in the markets in Central and South Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, a lot of people pattern what they do. Based off of what you're doing with just your show. A lot of these guys format their station based off of what you're doing, and they have a lot of success with it in the areas that they're in. Now, you talk about a lot of community issues, a lot of things, but you always seem to be kind of I won't say you don't go against the grain, but you have your own way of thinking. So Bobbyology.
Yeah, absolutely.
Explain that to us.
Well, Bobbyology is just something that that I came up with. It's kind of like a philosophy. It's a common sense philosophy, also based on some of the things that I've experienced, and some of the things that I've read, and some of the things that I know to be true. And one day I was on the air just giving all this stuff about, I guess maybe about 15, 20 years ago. Some guy called up and said, "Man, you go with this Bobbyology again." I was thinking, damn, that's pretty good.
It's pretty catchy.
So I started calling it Bobbyology, which it really is Bobbyology. But some of the guys say it's, you know, bullet crap, you know, it's Bobby bullet crap. But the fact of the matter is that, you know, I believe 100% of the stuff I say.
Really?
Damn right. Yeah, I do. I believe it.
But you know, I also heard you say that your wife say, "Bobby, people call you up and tell you everything, and you just believe it."
Yeah, my wife always says, "You know, people just tell you stuff and you believe it." I said, "Well, you know, it's based on what's in it for me." In other words, you know, I mean, if it's something that's not gonna hurt me, it don't mean nothing to me.